this is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for our devotional. Today we're in Acts chapter 5, verses 40 through 42. And if you remember over the last few days, the apostles have been called into the council. They've been put out of the room. Gamaliel has spoken some words really on God's behalf, and now they're being called back in, and here's what happens. And when they had called in the apostles, they beat them and charged them not to speak in the name of Jesus, and let them go. And then they left the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer dishonor for the name. And every day in the temple and from house to house, they did not cease teaching and preaching that Jesus Christ is Lord. You know, as we have discovered over many days of devotionals through Acts chapter 5, these followers, well, they took a stand for Jesus. And God intervenes in their situation, but they are not completely off the hook. We see here that they're flogged or beaten. Flogging was the standard, of course, for religious punishment in their time, and this was not your grandmother's spanking. This was a brutal whipping with a calfskin whip, and a guilty person would expose their upper torso and be forced to kneel and receive around 40 skin lacerating lashes. 2/3 were delivered to the back, 1/3 delivered to the front, leaving a person scarred for life as a permanent sign of shame. And on many occasions, people died from this type of flogging. But notice how the followers respond to this. They have two striking responses to the flogging. First, it says that they left rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer dishonor for the name of Jesus Christ. Their attitude is exactly the opposite of what one would expect. Typically, the stripes they bore on their body were a sign of great dishonor and even public ridicule. People left visually scarred and emotionally shamed for suffering in this way. But these guys didn't see the punishment or the wounds in the same way because they suffered for doing right, not wrong. Second, we see that this did nothing to alter their mission. They continued to speak in the name of Jesus. In fact, it works to increase their zeal. So basically, the council's efforts to deter the disciples not only did not work, it may have actually helped their cause. You know, what we witness here is a faithful few who are actually kind of plowing the way for others to believe. And these men verbalize the truth, they take a stand, they accept the punishment, and they stay on mission. And the obstacle at this moment is actually verbal and physical violence that masquerades as religious and political zeal. You know, I really believe that every season of our life will be met by those who use verbal and physical violence to persuade compliance with ways which oppose the truth. In some cases, the violence and resultant fear and shame might deter us from speaking and acting on mission. Yet, at some point, we all have to learn how to overcome human fear and shame of verbal and physical violence when doing what God requires of us. But the question that this forces us to answer is this: are you willing to take the stripes for Jesus? And then you're forced to remember that He did for you. You know, I hope you enjoyed this devotional today. I hope it provokes you to act in fresh new ways. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button below, share it with someone you know, hit subscribe, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.